What do you think is most important for a business YouTube channel? Is it their script? Is it their hooks or their storytelling ability? You will be surprised to know the amount of misinformation people have because of YouTube gurus, and it just blows my mind. In the last 5 years, I have just done one thing. I've worked with YouTubers. I have worked with them as video editors, thumbnail designers, and even as YouTube strategists. In the last 2 years, I've started working extensively with coaches and consultants. So I've seen what the successful business owners care about. In this video, we are going to answer this very question. We are going to discuss what matters most for a business YouTube channel to get traction, to build trust, and most importantly, to sell, because we are not trying to become viral. But before jumping right into the answer, we are going to discuss some of the myths, some of the not so popular advices for business YouTubers first. The first thing is you should optimize for shorts. And I wouldn't call it a bad advice if you are a drop shipper or a e-com company. So if you are an e-com company, you can do shorts on Instagram, on TikTok, all those places. But on YouTube, if we are trying to build trust and create a personal brand for ourselves, then the number one thing that we need is to show them that we are valuable. And this is mainly for coaches and consultants and everyone who are trying to sell an info product. So this trust factor is really important, and for that we have to take our audience with us on a journey. So this will be the transformation. People who can see this transformation with you will definitely buy from you. And major part of the audience who enjoys shorts, they're not really interested in long form contents. Okay. Also, the reason is 90 to 85% of shorts audience are below the age of 25. So the thing is, the attention span is very low. I know I'm generalizing a bit, but all in all, what I am trying to say is, when you are a small channel, if you are trying to optimize shorts, obviously we'll get views, but we are not trying to get viral. We are not chasing sponsorships. So instead of views, what we need is sales. So my videos can get as low views as 2,000, and even if 500 of them turn up to my webinar and 1% convert, still I will get 5 clients. So that's the main idea behind this. And the second myth is retention editing. A lot of us are trying to become like Mr. Beast, and we are trying to edit for the retention. But let me tell you, if we are trying to hook our audience with this retention edit, people who would buy, or who came to understand the stuff, they will be they'll be gone. The main thing everyone tries to avoid is figuring out who this is for. Okay, is this for a 80-year-old army veteran, or is it for a 35-year-old stockbroker? For whom am I making this video? For whom am I crafting this offer? So if I'm making a video for executives and my editing is for a 15-year-old, then that's a complete mismatch. We should avoid retention editing. Instead, we should make videos like this, where it's much more raw, where we are explaining the process. We should avoid bombarding text, graphics, b-rolls. We should use them in a meaningful way to give this video a shape, to help our viewers visualize this transformation. If they have to think, they will click off. So don't make it difficult for them. Don't make them think too much. By this, I don't mean to spoon feed your audience, but don't make it hard for them. Make it easy for them to follow. And the third myth is perfect over iteration. The number of videos is less important than the quality of videos, which in my understanding is true, but it cannot be true for everyone. There are exceptions, and I will tell you why. Do you know the story of a pottery class? So there was this experiment where a teacher gave an assignment to his students, and he divided them into group of 10s. So there was group A and group B. So to this group, the teacher assigned them to create one pot in 30 days. But the catch is they have to create a perfect pot. And to group B, he assigned is they have to create one pot each day. And that can be any kind of pot, but they have to do this for 30 days. And so this experiment went for 30 days, and when it came to the final result, who can build a better pot, whose product was better, this group or this group? What do you think? It was this group. And like you, even I was surprised when I learned group B won, who made one pot every day, and that was far from perfect. They were just putting stuff together. But that shows the power of numbers, that showed the power of iteration. That's why we should target making more videos. So whatever is your excuse, or whatever is your whatever's holding you back, you should drop it and should make more stuff. I'm making more videos on my channel. I guess it's evident now. But that doesn't mean we can throw quality out of the window. As a new channel, we should really focus on numbers. But once we have the ball rolling, once YouTube algorithm is set, and once we are accustomed to talk to this camera, we are comfortable with this. We should start taking the numbers down and focusing on this quality. So this is the stuff which this popular gurus don't talk about. So we should start with the numbers, which is an absolutely good advice, and we should focus on quality, which is also an absolute good advice. But when? That's the catch. We should start with the numbers, we should start with a lot of iterations, and then when we are at a stable place, we should pull back and we should challenge ourselves with the quality. So this is how this thing works. But obviously in the beginning stages, the iteration will be our best friend. When we are stable, we'll pull back to quality, and when we are stable here, we'll try to optimize the numbers with the quality. Okay, so we have spoken extensively about the myths in the industry and the bad advices that are prevalent in the industry. Now let's talk about what will move the needle for you. What's the main stuff that you should focus on? And that's hands down this one thing, that's the click-through rate. In the beginning, we should just focus to get more clicks. We just need to generate the traffic so that more people can get into our funnel, more people can get into our space, more people are introduced to our channel, so more people are exposed to our videos. And by more people, I don't mean like 2 million views. I mean, when I'm putting out a video, I'm getting on an average 20 to 30 views. My aim should be to take it to 2 to 3,000 views, then everything will start rolling. So until that, we should just focus on the click-through rate. Why? Because we can have a world-class video with world-class editing. But if no one clicks, no one gets to this good stuff. So we will fail right here, right at the beginning. That's why this is the most important metric, the click-through rate. When your thumbnail is shown to someone, how often do they click on that video? The CTR knowledge can be just a good to know stuff in your view. How can you apply that? Let's talk about that first. So I'm giving you a framework which I use with my clients, which help us focus more time on what will move the needle. And what moves the needle is actually the title and the thumbnail and the hook of the video, aka the first 30 seconds of your video. You can ask me why is it important, and I'm coming to that. The most important part of the title is it's not just an idea, it's an idea plus angle. And what do I mean by angle? Angle is just how I'm showing this problem. Angle is how I am framing this whole story. It's also part of the storytelling, but I'm not going too crazy with that. What I mean by angle is, let's say I have a video where I'm going to San Francisco to buy a suit. Okay, so I can just frame it like suit buying vlog, but nobody knows me and it's highly unlikely people will click on that. Instead, what I can do is I can call it a day in my life in San Francisco, or San Francisco, the best place to buy a suit in San Francisco, which positions me as someone who is exploring the best place in San Francisco. So, so really, I am talking to people who are in San Francisco or who are planning to go to San Francisco to buy a suit, or even just to to visit San Francisco, and this will be a good opportunity for them to buy a suit there. Just saying. Or I can just take a few steps back and add my own story to it. For example, let's say I lost 120 pounds in the last year. Okay, and that's why I'm treating myself with this suit, because my sizes are all changed and I'm buying a new suit to look sleek and everything. So I can frame this video like rewarding myself for being disciplined, rewarding myself at San Francisco for being disciplined. So I'm talking about, so I'm targeting a whole different set of audience, but these are just the angles which I'm trying to explain to you. Now, the title needs to be really, really engaging, and for the most parts, it should talk to the pain point of our audience. It should talk to the pain point. It should show them what they need. We are going to give them what they want, not what they need. Sorry, that was wrong. What they want. They should talk about what they want. Okay, and the thumbnail is just to grab their attention. Just to grab their attention. It should, the best, I'm going to give you my best formula for a thumbnail, but the thumbnail should generally be a headshot of you, or the shot of something you're talking about in this video. So it can be, if it is on NBA, then you can show a shot of Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or LeBron James. All in all, it should be you or something people care about with an attention grabbing text. I'm going to break it down for you, don't worry. But let's jump to the hook, because it's as important as the title and the thumbnail. You can ask why, and that's because these two will give you the CTR, click through rate. So you'll get the click, congratulations. But if people drop off just before 30 seconds, then it will signal YouTube that your videos are not really interesting enough. So YouTube will stop promoting you, and that's why we need to make this hook really strong. So when I work with a client and they're new to this, so I don't overwhelm them. Okay, I can write a script for you, I can give you the script, but following it and doing what I need you to do can be really, really overwhelming. So, and also this is a challenge. I know it's a challenge for a lot of you. Even it's a challenge for me when I try to read a script with my camera on. So learn it somewhat, somehow you learn it, or you use a teleprompter. I know it can get messy, especially for those long scripts. So sometimes I ask them, because they have a business to run as well. So I ask them to take a step back. I give them the hook. We plan out the title and the thumbnail, and then they just have pointers and they go by the pointers. What I mostly encourage them is similar to what I encouraged you in the last few videos. Use your own stories and show that you know the stuff. But the point about the hook is, I just got sidetracked, sorry. The point about the hook is, all we need to do is we need to assure our audience that they're going to get what they came for. So this is what they want and this is what they need. How am I going to solve this problem? That's what we'll talk about in the hook. Now I'll make an extensive video on hook sometime later, but today we are just talking about the title and the thumbnail and what moves the needle. Mainly these three things move the needle. So what I need you to do, I need you to experiment with different titles and thumbnail, and I want to make this clear. Your idea is not your title. Your idea plus your angle is your title. You have to frame it in a way which will make me want to grab it. So I'm giving you a few resources right here right now, but before that, just let me clear this hook part. So all we need to do in this part is we need to make sure that our audience knows that they want something and they're going to get that. But in order to get that, they will need this. So I am going to give you this via this. This is what they need to know in the hook. And that's going to make it enough interesting for them. Now let's jump into our title and thumbnail strategy that I was talking about. So this little strategy that I'm going to show you right now, many big YouTubers have used this and they have obviously got enough success. But I'm going to give you a framework by which you can apply this and it will be easy for you. The first step is we should figure out the title and the thumbnail even before jotting down the video idea. So we need to have the angle of the video clear before we write the script or before we think about clicking record. Why is that? Because we need to align our content with the title. Okay, so what I say is what I deliver. That's the idea. Now I have delivered something, but the way I have delivered it is not very intriguing. That can sink our ship. So all I need you to do is focus on the thumbnail and the title first. For the thumbnail, my basic strategy for the thumbnail is this is my 9:16 frame, and mostly what I do, I use a face over here which is generally this big with a very expressive face, and pardon my drawing please. So this is like is amazed about something. Just make the eyebrows a bit it's looking bad, sorry about this. So a very expressive face, full of expression and emotions. With this, what I like to pair is a very engaging text. Now this text, you need to think a lot about this text, because at max we should use 2 lines and only limited characters, because if the text is too small and you zoom out, on a frame you will have multiple videos, so your thumbnail will be a bit small. Now with the recent update, the thumbnails are a bit bigger, so we can get away, we can test that. But generally I go for very big text, and by big I mean the font is really big. But what I need to do is I need to paraphrase my emotion. So the title and the thumbnail should marry. Okay, so this text need to be short and need to be on point to what I'm saying. This should just be intriguing, nothing else. Just intriguing text which will force me to think, what's that? What's this about? Really, this can challenge a belief. This can just be a controversial statement. Just two controversial words, no statement. We cannot afford to add long sentences over here. So let's say I have a video called top 10 guitar techniques that you need to know. Then my text can be 0 to pro, simple. Or that thumbnail can be something like this: a sad guitarist, a sad face with the instrument, and I'm really sorry for my drawing, and a happy face with similarly the instrument, or a famous guitarist perhaps. So 0, we have a text 0 over here, arrow, pro, or you can omit the arrow. But the idea is to visually show what we are trying to say. Similarly, you can drop the text and add any graph if you need. So you will see in my first video, which is about how you should edit your videos, or why should you stop editing your videos, I have used that YouTube retention graph, indicating that this is the metric that I'm trying to maximize for you. So this will stop your scroll. But if we go back to that video of buying a suit in San Francisco, and let's say we are using this angle, that I lost 120 pounds in just 1 year and I'm buying a new suit to feel good. and to reward myself. So I can frame it like how I stay motivated, or I cannot write how I stay motivated. That will be too long. Instead, I will go stay motivated with a very expressive face over here, or a screenshot from the video. And I can take a screenshot from the video, but with any AI app, try to take the subject out and delete the background. Now the next step is blur your background, keep the subject intact. So our subject will be in focus, our background will be blurred. This will make the text readable, and you can do this in a simple app like Canva. But the thing is, an expressive face with the text. The text can be something else, like reward yourself, because this is all about the person rewarding himself for achieving a goal and staying disciplined. How I stay on my goals or disciplined, and on the thumbnail I am adding one of the tips, which is reward yourself. So this paired with this is giving them an answer, but they're thinking, your audience is thinking that there must be more stuff in this video. So they want to know how to stay motivated, how to stay on track with the goals. And this text is exactly showing them that I did this and I achieved this. So they will click. This is the basic idea. There's nothing fancy with the thumbnail, but you don't need to be Mr. Beast's thumbnail designer, but you need to be very choosy about these words. Everything else can be omitted or can be substituted. I can just delete the background and use a gray gradient, or just a white color, black color, any solid color. Your expression is important, and this text is very, very important. This is the formula that I use. This is the formula everyone uses, and I know for a fact because I got over 7% CTR using these formulas. Now, if you're not making these mistakes and you are following this framework of writing the title and the thumbnail beforehand, planning the angle, the thumbnails and everything, then you are pretty much there. It's only a matter of time and iteration. We need to practice this, check with popular YouTubers, check with people that you like. So let's say if you like Alex Hormozy, try out his thumbnails. Or if you have any competitor, you need to build a competitor list, by the way. So people who are in your niche or in surrounding niches, try to model their ideas, try to add a spin to their ideas. By adding a spin, I mean, let's say you find a very interesting video on a car dealership, and let's say you want to use it for your leadership coaching. So use a framework or use the idea, the angle of the video, and use it in your case. The car dealership can have a video like why 1960s Chevy Chevelle is so iconic. So you can use this framework in your videos as a leadership coach. Is why Steve Jobs was an iconic leader, or why Steve Jobs was a better leader than an innovator. From a distance, it doesn't seem like you were inspired from that Chevy Chevelle video, but the iterations, the changes that you made, the tweaks that you made were on the idea, on the title that you modeled from their video. So this is how you can use stuff from your neighboring channels or your neighboring niches. So I hope this makes sense, and this thing alone will help you take your CTR to the next level. But as I said, CTR is not the only thing that I care about, because we need to think about the hook of the video after that, just after that. Your success of your video just lies on the title, the thumbnail and the hook of the video. And if you want to know how you can hook your audience better, you must, and I specifically emphasize on must, you must check this video out.